Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 15 Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs, and our theme today is Snowman and Valentine's Day. I'm going to DIY one of the little snowman wreath forms, and I'm going to do it with macrame cord. Now, I got some pink and some white. I ended up only using one of the packages of white. It actually went way further than I thought to do a little macrame snowman. I've never done this, and I was a little intimidated. I'm going to start here, right here, where the snowman head and body kind of come together, and tie that, kind of knotting it on the back just to attach it first. Now, the tricky part about this was winding it around, because I had such a big ball of macrame cord that it kind of made it awkward. So I was trying to kind of see if I could do it like several times around and do it like that, but it was a little cumbersome, and I don't know if there's a better method for this. And I was like, I don't want this to take absolutely forever. So what I ended up doing was just cutting it down into a shorter piece. That way it would be easier for pulling it in and out. And that's what we're going to do. But I just wanted to wrap the two little metal parts together, just wrapping all the way around. I want like the snowman head and the snowman body to be white. So that's why we're doing that with the white macrame. And I was a little intimidated by this project. It did take some time, this DIY, speeding this way up for you. But I do want you guys to see kind of all the steps that I did. And I'm kind of trying to keep this as tight as I can, but not too tight, until I get over here the little arm areas. And I kind of have a smaller area I need to go through. So I put a little hot glue on the tip to make kind of a little needle out of the macrame, so I can get that right in there exactly where I want. I want to try to cover as much as the reform with that white macrame cord as I can. I've done this with like Dollar Tree rope and like unwound rope before, but this is definitely the skinniest thing I've wrapped something like this with. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. And, the project did end up probably taking me over an hour, but I love how it turned out. Now, this is how far that piece of macrame got me. So I just knotted it. I want to have any knots on the back so I can kind of like hot glue down the tip so it doesn't like stick out for the front. And then I'm going to take that same macrame cord that we were using before. I'm going to try to cut down a piece, a little shorter piece again. And we can start right there where we finished. I do want my knot to be hidden on the back, so I kind of flip mine over and knot that. And then we can keep winding this around. There are like little crossbars that kind of stick out a little bit, even though I've wound it. But they're not too noticeable, so I think they're okay. And as you can see, to do it, I'm just having to take the whole ball of macrame cord and going in and out and in and out of the circle to be able to wrap that around. And it really wasn't too bad. I just put on, a good YouTube video and crafted away. I'm just going over the little tricky arm part here again. And this one wasn't too bad. And I'm going to keep wrapping this, trying to cover the rest of my little snowman body. And I like the effect it gave me. I'm kind of glad I did the wrapped thing. I'm also going to wrap the hat. That's why we're also going to be using that bright pink macrame cord, which I was really excited to find at Dollar Tree. I think it's really cool. And I thought that'd be really fun for Valentine's Day. Now, when I get to this part of the snowman, it was a little tricky. I just cut it down again because I'm going to have this piece end, and I thought it'd be easier, but I just kind of feed it through and then kind of knot everything here together. And then I come in with my next piece and knot that on the back as well. This is another piece of the macrame cord I cut down, and we can start working on the snowman head. I do want to kind of mask this area, so I kind of just string it together, top and bottom. I am going to do a little scarf on my snowman, so it'll kind of cover that area too. And we're just going to keep wrapping the snowman with a macrame cord. At first, I wanted to do like a fancy, like macrame pattern or something like that. But in the end, I decided just to wrap it. And I'm glad I did because that probably would have been super time consuming. And I'm just doing the left side of the hat. The hat's on there kind of like a little bit crooked. But I'm kind of trying not to interfere with the hat too much, but just kind of keep trying to wind that circle for the top of the snowman head. So I get it like as tight as I can to like the little snowman there. And then I put some hot glue on the end so I can kind of feed it through any tight spaces I might need to. I was trying to keep this as tight as I can to cover all of the wreath form, but working around all of my obstacles of the hat as well. And then we're just going to wrap the top part of the hat as well, and even like the brim of the hat, which was a little skinny, but I'll show you what I did with that. We're going to make that work. So almost done with the macrame wrapping on this one. I'm speeding this up like, like 6 times. And I didn't kind of cut this one quite long enough to make it all the way around. So I just knotted on the back and knot a new cord because I just need to finish off this last little portion here of my snowman wreath. And, the macrame cord would be durable enough to, hold up outside, I think. I don't think I'm going to use mine outside. I think I'm going to use this in my entryway right next to my front door. I think it'll look super cute there. And I just kind of go around the little neck area of the snowman as well, making sure I have everything nice and tight. And I just tie a knot here again on the back, trying to hide all of my knots on one side and not leaving too much of the twine left over so I can kind of glue that down and make it look neat. Now it's time for the hat. Look at this. I got this in like pink and I got it in like turquoise. I think I even got one in purple. They have these great colors and I love the macrame cord from Dollar Tree. They're so fun to craft with. I've made so many things with it. So just like before, I'm going to kind of cut down a, reasonable portion. I thought, but then I was like, you know what? I don't need to cut down anything because I'm just going to be wrapping around the hat. I don't have to go in and out like I did the snowman. So I made that part easier. Where the hat and the brim comes together, that's where I'm just going to knot it on the back and then just simply wrap it. So this is why I didn't have to cut it down. I can just simply wrap it around, trying to keep it tight. I just kind of, grip it, kind of push it down. I don't want any of the wreath form showing through. I just want a cute little bright pink snowman hat for Valentine's Day. Now, once you get to the end, it's a little bit tricky. They have like 2 of the little crossbars going straight up, but they're not like wide enough to really be using very much. So I'm just going to have to use a little hot glue here at the top to glue the macrame cord to the actual frame. And then I kind of glue a second row just kind of to itself, just to cover those little notches that were sticking out at the top because they were kind of in the way. I cut it down to size, kind of blending my seam in the middle and gluing down my macrame cord. Any of the little knots, the little fibers, I try to glue those down to the back so they're not visible from the front. Now, for the brim of the hat, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to pull that off. Just trying to clean up any excess hot glue I have up there. But I kind of decided to use like the structure that was already there. And this is how I ended up doing it. I'm just going to tie that off with like my knot there in the back. And we're going to simply wrap it. And once I get to the end, I'm just going to have to use a little hot glue to kind of make it kind of stay in place and not slip off the very end here. But then I'm going to also go back and double wrap it. And that's going to make it thicker, a little bit more substantial to kind of go with the scale of the hat. And then I just knot that off on the back. Again, and I kind of realized I probably shouldn't have cut the first one off because I could have tied it to itself. So when I do the other side, I just left the tail on there. I wrapped it, hot glued it to the end, and then go back, wrap it again to make it bigger. And then I can tie that against the twine that we started with to knot it on the back just to kind of avoid more than one knot. And glue down the little pieces to clean that up as well. Now, I didn't really like the fact that the arms were kind of exposed, so I thought we could probably wrap those as well. So I'm going to kind of do the same technique. We're just going to be using some Dollar Tree like brown twine. And I'm just going to do one piece of the little stick hand or arm at a time. I'm going to do the side arms first. I thought that'd be easier. I just started by knotting that on and wrapping that around, attaching that with hot glue here at the end to try to keep that on there and trimming off the excess, trying to clean everything up. I'm a little concerned if this is going to stay on or not. I guess we will see. If it doesn't, I'll have to go back and kind of add some more hot glue. But this is how I did it for the first arm. I did both of the little branches first. Then I'm going to start here at the base and then go back and wrap it around for the longer part of the little arm or snowman hand, I guess. And the same way, just wrapping that. And I'm glad that I wrapped them. I think it did make it look a little bit better, but you might want to wrap it side up because you can't really see what's happening. I had mine kind of on there upside down. So this time I'm going to kind of try to knot it so I can kind of see a little bit better. And just going to do it the same way. I just wrap the little top and bottom parts first, and then we'll do the longer part. That way everything is wrapped. I did think about putting like some white fabric or something behind it to make the snowman like an actual snowman, but I really kind of like the outline effect, and so I'm glad that I left it like that. I think it turned out kind of cool. So for the final part, I'm just starting at the base again and knotting it, gluing it, wrapping it around, and gluing the tip. I thought about making him hold something, but I couldn't really find anything small enough to put in his hands. Now for the little scarf, I'm going to use just some red and white and pink heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree. The only thing I didn't like was the metallic border. So I'm just going to trim mine off. You can use whatever you have. I thought about using like the pink baby blankets from the Dollar Tree, or I wish I knew how to like knit or crochet. You could use that pink macrame cord and kind of do a custom one. That'd be really cute. And I was like, girl, you don't have time to learn how to do that. So I just do the part that's wrapped around the neck first. And then I'm going to do like the little tails of the scarf separately. So I'm going to cut 2 more pieces of that ribbon down. And then we're going to cut the little metallic ribbon off. I just didn't think that really went with the vibe of the project. I just wanted the ribbon, not the glitz. But the pink is a very similar color to the pink in the hat, so I think we can make that work. And I'm going to have it hanging where like both sides of the tail face front, so you'll get that beautiful pattern. Kind of make it look like it's knotted around the little snowman's neck. Now, I thought like maybe a little something to finish it off. I do a little pink wood heart right there where the scarf kind of comes together for a little decorative touch. Then I thought I kind of wanted to do something with a little snowman hat. So I decided to do like a white macrame heart on there. I thought that'd be super cute. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm just doing hot glue in the shape of a heart and laying the macrame cord on there. And I think that turned out cute. You could leave it just like that with just the outline of the heart. And I did think about doing that. But then I decided to fill mine all the way in. And I'm just doing that a section at a time, hot gluing that, just going next to the outline next to it until we fill in the entire heart. And I'm glad I decided to add this to it because I think it turned out really sweet. And again, I was thinking, man, I really want to do the scarf and this macrame cord. I have no idea how to make a scarf out of this. But I didn't really like all my different colors of pink, so I decided to switch up my pink heart to the red heart, just so I didn't have so many different colors of pink on my DIY. It doesn't really need a hanger or anything like that. I'm just going to use the structure of the wreath form to hang it, and this is how mine turned out. I already have it hanging in my entryway. I think he's super sweet. Definitely got a little touch of Valentine's Day with that pink hat and that really cute red, pink, and white heart scarf. And I love the texture of him. This is probably one of my favorite ways that I have DIY'd the little snowman wreath form. Really a fun project. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I would really appreciate it if you would hype today's video. I'm going to make a snowman wall hanging using some of these wood signs from the Dollar Tree. Now, you can use 3 of the circles, and originally I was going to do 3 of the circles, Then I thought it'd be really creative to do one of the pieces of the snowman with the heart sign since it's for Valentine's Day, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the hangers from all of these. The heart sign is a palette board sign that goes up and down. So I kind of want the circles to go up and down too. So it'll kind of all match like that. So I'm going to need to fill the hanger holes for these, and I will drill new holes to be able to put these together. So to do that, I'm just using some Dollar Tree spackle. I'm just going to do a quick patch on these. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want there to be holes in the sign like that because that won't make much sense. So on the left is going to be the snowman head, the heart's going to be the middle, and then the bottom is going to be a circle as well. We're also going to have Snowman Valentine's Day coffee bar DIYs, a Snowman Valentine's Day wreath, and a Snowman Valentine's Day wall hanging later on in today's video. So the first thing I do is just drill holes. I'm just using my drill bit and going right in the center. It's pretty easy to know the center on that circle sign because there's like a little cutout there, and it's also super easy to figure it out here on the heart. So I did it on the top of the circle, the top and bottom of the heart, and I'm going to do it on the top and the bottom of the circle as well. I thought I could hang them together and make like a wall hanging where they're all tied together. And I think this is so much fun. I had so much fun putting this DIY together for you tonight. So I just do a quick sand. My drill was pretty good to give me some really nice uniform holes there. And of course, I want my snowman to be white. So I'm just going to use some white acrylic paint, and we are just going to paint these. I think it's going to be fun to have like a snowman sign that is like a palette board sign. But using these signs from the Dollar Tree takes away a lot of the work. You get this really cool effect. And so I just go all over. Kind of distressing the edges as well if any paint dripped over. I also go in between the palette boards into the little seam there and paint that white as well. I don't mind if some of the wood shows through, but I really want most of it to be white. So I just go over the heart the same way, and we're going to do the bottom piece. I've got some fun ideas for a few Valentine's Day touches we can throw in here too. That's going to tie together Snowman and Valentine's Day. But I think this is really fun. So if you can find these wood palette signs, I would encourage you to make this. It turned out really good. You can use it for a wall hanging, but you could also use it on your door too for Valentine's Day. For the hat, I'm just going to use some cardboard. This is just some cardboard from a calendar that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I always save these because they're great for crafting. I thought this would work perfectly to make a little snowman hat. Something flat, easy to cut, but sturdy enough to hold up to what I want to do for it. So I just use my ruler to kind of see what would be to scale for the head of the snowman, and I'm going to cut out like a rectangle there, and that is going to be the top of the hat. I'll cut out another piece of cardboard for the brim of the hat. So I want it to be wider than this one. I don't want it to be super big though. I'm going to use the ruler height, I think, for how tall it's going to be. And these squares from the Dollar Tree are great because you can get some great square lines like this. I just went ahead and traced mine on with a pen and cut it out. And that cardboard's not super thick, but it's definitely thick enough for crafting. Now what I want to do is cover it with this beautiful velour fabric that I found at Dollar Tree. It is red and very lush. I thought this would be so pretty for Valentine's Day. You could also use some of they got some really pretty pink fabrics as well now too. That would work well for Valentine's Day. I just start here on the bottom and glue over with some hot glue, and I just went ahead and cut off the rest of the fabric. I just need like a 3/4 of an inch of fabric to be able to come over to the back and glue that down. For the sides, I tried to kind of wrap it like a present a little bit when I glued it down so I wouldn't have any corners sticking out here. And just secure that with hot glue, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. And then I'm going to wrap the brim of the hat with the same fabric. I thought it would look more 3D to have that separate and on top of that part of the hat. That's why I did it a little bit longer, the first section. So I'm just going to cut out a rectangle of that same velour fabric, and we're going to cover this one as well. Just some hot glue, just trying to get it as tight as I can. I'm also going to use this red velour fabric to cover a heart that I want the snowman to hold. And it turned out so cute. I really love this little guy. And so that looks pretty good. I can go ahead and now put the hat together. Just gonna stack it on there like that, super easy. This is the wood heart that I want to cover with that as well. I wasn't sure if I should paint it or if I should try to cover it with fabric, but I thought it would look way more plush if I covered it with that same velour fabric. So using it as a reference, I'm gonna cut out probably an inch or so border around so that I can wrap it around the heart. And I wasn't sure how hard it would be to actually wrap a heart. It wasn't too bad. Just lots of hot glue. I did have to kind of cut it here in the middle. You'll see, to get it kind of tight there in the middle part of the heart. But I just start here at the bottom with my hot glue, and I'm going to glue it on here. It almost gave like a little bit of a heart pillow effect because it was wrapped in the fabric. So that looks pretty cool. So again, I just cut it right here in the center so I could pull each end tight to get that little gap to go down there in the middle. And then just kind of go about halfway down the heart, start hot gluing it, just working one section at a time. Any of the sections that kind of leaves a gap, I go back and hot glue that and just kind of pleat it until it's nice and tight there on the back. I want it to be as close to a smooth heart shape as I can get. And if you have to glue it more, do it, because you'll not be able to get to that part once you put this together. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And I want to do a few more like little heart details on both of these to give them a little bit of Valentine's Day charm. But I'm going to have this on the middle section of the snowman, which is already shaped like a heart. So it's kind of be like a double heart. So I think that will be really cute. So that looks pretty good. See how it kind of looks like a little red plush heart pillow? I think it's because this fabric is so like luxe with like the velour. It looks so nice. I just attached the brim of my hat with some hot glue. And instead of ribbon, I thought it would be really pretty to use some of this heart ribbon lace from the Dollar Tree to decorate the top. This is so cute. So I just cut out a piece of it that's a little bit longer than the width of my hat. And then just like the fabric, I'm going to wrap it around here on the back and attach it. And I think that's enough Valentine decor for the hat. It's very subtle, but I think it works. And then for the heart, I wanted something that kind of looked a little bit like lace for that lace heart. And Dollar Tree has these little craft board laser cut hearts, and they're really delicate like that. So I'm going to paint mine. Now these are kind of made out of cardboard material, so they soak in a lot of paint. I'm just using a white paint and a makeup sponge. That way I don't clog up any of the holes in that really intricate design, but it does soak up so much paint that I did have to use about 3 coats of white paint to get it looking good. And then I just attach it with a little bit of hot glue here on the heart. Now that we have the upholstered pieces done, we can start working on putting this together. So this is going to be the body. So I'm going to have arms coming around to hold this heart, but I do need to go ahead and glue it on. So I put some hot glue and I just center it heart on heart. So I guess 3 hearts there. And we can start working on the head of the snowman. I want the hat to be tilted a little bit. You're probably going to want to put the hanger on first. I kind of forgot and went ahead and attached mine with some hot glue, but it wasn't too late. I was able to get some twine, and I hadn't really filled up the gap back here. So I'm just going to use a piece of twine to make a very simple hanger. I'm just going to feed it through, knot that, and that will work for hanging this. I want it to hang straight up and down, but I do want the little hat to be tilted off to the side like that. I do reinforce it by gluing it a little bit more. And there's our snowman hat. For the face, I thought I would paint it on. I do end up using a few more items to make it more textured and fun, but I did paint on the eyes. I just painted some black ovals on here. Nothing fancy. I know faces can be hard, but snowman faces are actually pretty easy. And I was going to paint on the mouth, but then I decided, buttons would be more fun. Dollar Tree has these little buttons, all different assortments, and I found like 6 of the little black ones or dark colored ones that I think will work. And I'm just going to use hot glue, just a tiny dot of hot glue to attach these. And I thought it would just be another fun texture to use buttons. And I was going to paint the nose on too, but I decided I liked the texture. So I think I'm going to do it with felt. So this is some of the Dollar Tree felt. There is an orange piece in this one. And it's super easy. I'm just going to do a carrot. I thought at first of doing it pink or red for a Valentine's Day, but I thought it really needed to be orange to be a carrot. So I'm just going to cut out a carrot, really easy shape to do. Make it a little bit smaller. That looks like it's pretty good to scale. And I just attach our little felt carrot with some hot glue there to finish off the face. Now it's time to start putting this together. I told you I wanted to tie these together. I want them to hang like separate signs. So I'm just taking some Dollar Tree twine. I'm going to feed it in from the front and knot it on the back. This twine that I got from the Dollar Tree is kind of thick, so one knot is definitely going to hold that. I'll feed it in through the front of the heart part, and I want it to be pretty tight, and tie it and cut it here. I decided against a scarf for my snowman because I didn't want to take away from the heart effect, the middle section being a heart, and if I had a scarf wrapped around there, I don't think you'd really be able to tell. I do the same thing here for the bottom, knotting each piece here on the back and hanging them pretty close together, but far enough apart that they would lay flat like this. Now for the snowman arms, I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree wired jute for this. This is perfect for snowman arms because it'll keep its shape. I can wrap it around to act like it's holding that little heart like that, like a little snowman arm. The only tricky part is cutting this stuff because it likes to fray. I used a wire cutter and a pair of scissors to try to not mess with it too much. They do like to kind of fall apart, so the less you work with them, the better. So I cut a second one the same length. I'm going to have it like holding the heart like that. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. I don't want that to fray away from the wire at all, so I want to go ahead and attach that with hot glue. I am going to go back and put some hands on there as well. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side, gluing it onto the heart first. Then I'm going to have it wrap around, but not tightly. I want it to stick out like an arm, and that's where the wire really comes in handy for this. And I use hot glue to attach it here on the back. I go back and use quite a bit of hot glue for this because I don't want that to fall apart from the wire and the twine, but I also want to make sure that that stays in place. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to use regular twine for the hands because if you cut the wired jute this short, it definitely falls apart. And I don't really need wire for this part. I just want little fingers on the hand here. So I attach it to the wire jute with hot glue and then 2 dots on the heart. And I can kind of bend it like that to look like a little hand. I had so much fun putting this new snowman together for you for Valentine's Day. I really hope you enjoy it. I think it turned out really cute. And that fabric is so pretty. Here he is hanging up in my home. He's actually pretty large with the 3 signs together and the hat on there as well. But I think he turned out really cute. What do you guys think about this guy? He was definitely fun to make. Again, if you don't have the heart part for the middle, it would still be super cute, but if you can do the heart, I would highly recommend it. Now for the next DIY, I thought it'd be fun to do a fun little snowman sign for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to use a Dollar Tree wood round and a little snowman wood sign to whip something up, something fun that I can use probably in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. I found this great cardstock at Dollar Tree and they had the perfect color of pink. I don't think I've ever used this cardstock before. It has a really interesting texture on it and it's super thick. I loved it. And it's the perfect size for the Dollar Tree wood rounds, as you can see. I just use an ink pen and kind of sketch mine out, and then I'm just going to go in and cut it out. It's really kind of hard to cut a perfect circle, but I figure I can always sand the edges to kind of give me that perfect cut after I get it on there, but I thought it'd be easier to cut it down now just because the cardstock was so thick. I'm also going to have to use a pretty hefty coat of Mod Podge to be able to attach the cardstock since it was so thick, but I do really like the texture on it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of got like a fabric texture, but it's glossy at the same time. And I just glue mine on with the Mod Podge like that, wiping off any excess Mod Podge and then sanding the edges. It gave me that perfect circle that I was looking for. I'm not going to frame it out or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of leave it as is because I am stacking Dollar Tree signs. Now, it was so thick, it was kind of hard to like poke the holes for the hanger. I had to kind of poke from behind first because you really can't feel through that, and it's really kind of hard to poke through it as well. But I just do that with a little Dollar Tree cricket weeder, and then I'm going to use some Dollar Tree twine and feed it in from the back and knot some twine in the front just to make a new hanger. It did have a hanger, but I kind of cut it. The way they're making those wood round hangers now is like all attached, but I don't really need all that, so I'm just gonna do a simple hanger like that. Now this is just the standard wood snowman they have every year at Christmas time and winter, and I don't really need the hole in the top because I'm going to attach that to the other sign. So I just fill mine in with a little spackle first, and just like the snowman before, we're going to paint it white. The difference is that this is wood instead of the MDF. And so the paint definitely gives you a little bit better coverage. I'm going to do the snowman face and body, and I'm going to have to kind of do the scarf as well just because it's kind of in the way. Just trying to get any little dots of white all blended in there. And then I'm just going to use some bright red for the little stocking hat of our snowman. Since we're doing the pink, I thought on the sign, I thought we could do a lot of red on the little snowman. And I don't know the simplest way to paint these. I was trying to use a makeup sponge. I thought that might be a little cleaner, but I was kind of getting a little bit on my snowman here and there. So I kind of switch it up between a small brush and my little makeup sponge. And we're going to paint the scarf bright red as well. Just trying to keep that off my snowman. And paint that a nice solid color of red. Then I'm just going to mix the orange, pumpkin orange with white again to give me that pastel orange color that we used for the snowman for the coffee bar. And we're going to paint the little carrot nose, that light orange color. I'm just going to use my black paint pen. We're going to draw on some simple little snowman eyes. I try to leave a little eye shine on those, but I'm going to have to add to it because I kind of covered them up. And then like a little dot hole mouth, little white eye spots, and kind of going over my red, making sure I didn't have any, super blotchy areas. I just wanted to do a fun little whimsical Snowman Valentine's Day sign just to give me a little smile with Valentine Day decor. Now it's time to attach my little snowman. I'm going to do a hefty amount of hot glue on the back and glue that down onto that cardstock. I really loved that cardstock. I'm from Dollar Tree. I don't know why I've never used this one before. I think I've seen it before, but I really liked it. Now, since it's kind of a solid color, I thought we would kind of break that up, bring a little Valentine's Day in with some of their little wooden hearts. I love these. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do red and pink or just red. Then I decided I think I just want to do red because I already have like the pink sign. And I'm going to do like 3 little hearts on each side. These are kind of the hearts that kind of curve to the side, but they're like painted on both sides. So I can kind of mirror them, which I thought looked cute. And we're just going to glue those down with like the larger heart in the middle to give me a little dose of Valentine's Day. We are going to be decorating the snowman more to make him ready for Valentine's Day as well. But I kind of wanted to get the base coat on him done. I was having trouble with my dryer. I think I'm going to have to get a new dryer from Amazon because my blue one is kind of giving out on me. Now, to kind of make the hat pop, I thought it would look good to kind of outline it with white, kind of give it like a snowy feel and kind of make it pop a little bit. So I just do like the brim of the hat and then like the top edge of the hat too, kind of sketching that out, the little ball on the end of the hat to give it a little bit of structure. I'm going to do the same thing down here on the little scarf, kind of trying to make it look like a scarf with like, the different parts like kind of wrapped around. I thought about kind of drawing the other part of the red scarf on the snowman, but I decided not to. And then just doing some simple little hearts with my white paint pen all over the scarf. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on his stocking hat to make him look like he's ready for Valentine's Day. Since I outlined everything else, I decided to outline the little wood hearts with the white paint pen as well. Now, they must stain these little pieces from Dollar Tree because, as you can see, like the white paint like really blended in. Then I used my red paint pen to do some little buttons, and I decided to give him little heart-shaped buttons down the front as well. And I'm going to have to go over all of my hearts again with another coat of my white paint pen because, as you can see, that white paint just was really soaking into those. Kind of a totally different effect than the red paint that I used on the snowman. Now, I kind of wanted to give a little bow, and I thought that'd be a cute way to kind of decorate the hanger on this to kind of make it look a little bit more festive. And I found some of this red and white Valentine's Day ribbon from Dollar Tree. I thought it would be perfect. So I just put it on, and I'm just going to tie a simple bow right at the top of the hanger. And I kind of want like the tails of the bow to kind of hang down on the hanger. It's going to provide a little decorative touch, but it's also still going to be a functional hanger. So I just cut the little tails down to size, and they kind of wanted to go all over the place. So I'm just going to kind of tack mine down a little bit with a little, just a tiny dot of hot glue, just to kind of make those stay in place. And if you wanted to, you could always frame out this sign. I think it would be really cute. But I kind of wanted just something really simple. So I think we're going to leave the edges as is. And this is how it turned out. Our little pink snowman sign for Valentine's Day. I think I'm going to hang this on the side of my cabinets in my kitchen where you first come in. I think he's super cute. What do you guys think about my little Valentine's Day snowman? I love him. He's just adorable. I love all the little heart touches. You could also use like a pink heart scrapbook paper for a background. Up next, we're going to be doing a snowman themed Valentine's Day coffee bar DIYs with lots of fun DIYs. I got a couple of these little Valentine's Day signs. I'm going to cut the little heart house part off because I don't really need that. I just need some long signs to make a large sign for the top of my coffee bar. So I just went to my saw and just sawed those off. I can always reuse those for another DIY. And I'm going to put both of the signs together side by side to make kind of a big palette board sign. So I'm trying to see which side's the best side. I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and then I'm going to brace it together with just some jumbo popsicle sticks. You could always use Dollar Tree rulers or stuff like that for that too, but I have these and I think we can make these work. So I think 3 is going to be plenty. I wanted to do a fun sign for the top of my coffee bar, and we're going to be doing Valentine Snowman DIYs today for my coffee bar, but also some home decor after I get finished decorating my coffee bar. I love how everything turned out. Now I'm just using Gorilla Glue hot glue to glue this down. You might want to use a little bit of wood glue too. I did notice that the signs were a little glossier than I probably would have thought, but the hot glue seems to have held up. I know the signs are kind of thin, so I was trying to avoid using my staple gun. Now for this snowman for our sign, I have one of these little MDF of snowman signs that I got at Dollar Tree this year. And it's got like a little raised scarf and brim of the hat. And then I don't really need a hole in it, so I just filled mine in with a little bit of spackle from the Dollar Tree. First step is to paint this. Now, one thing I don't really enjoy about the MDF signs from Dollar Tree is that they really like soak, the paint in. So you're going to have to do a couple of coats to get like a bright white, but I'm just going to go ahead and go over everything just so I don't have to kind of cover up that like brown color when I go to try to make some like bright colors for Valentine's Day. So I didn't really have any brushes, so I'm just using a tiny brush, which kind of made it a little bit harder. But we're going to go ahead and get this covered. I was trying to get as solid white as I could get for a base coat. I like the wood signs a lot better than the MDF signs, but sometimes that's the only ones that you can find. Once I got that, it was about 1 coat coverage. I really only need the face of the snowman to be bright white. So I'm just going to go over that part of the snowman with a second coat just to make sure it kind of pops against our red sign. and I thought snowmen would just be really fun. I do want to bring in some Valentine's Day colors though, and this was the point that I realized that I really don't have a good selection of pinks. I'm gonna have to stock up on some pink paint for Valentine's Day. I must have used it all last year. But for this scarf, I'm just going to use this pretty salmon color that I have of acrylic. And it's a nice color of pink. It's not like, real traditional for Valentine's Day, but I use this color a lot, my Valentine's Day decor. So I'm going to do the scarf and the top part of the little snowman hat in that color. And then the only other color of pink I had was this one. It's supposed to be kind of a chalky paint, like kind of a color of like a terracotta pot, I think is what it's called. And I thought I could work with it, but as you can see, it's kind of going on like, super blotchy, and it's just a very muted color of pink. And so I'm actually going to update that color, but that was my first go at that. I decided just to mix some red and white together, make my own pink since I don't really have a traditional pink color. So that's what we're going to do here. I wanted to do like the snowman over on one side of the sign for the top of my coffee bar, and I wanted something big, kind of take it up a lot, but I have a fun saying to put on the sign as well. So I'm going to update this part of the hat with my new color of paint and try to touch it up any of the snowman that I may have gotten some paint on. It's kind of tricky on those signs. And then, of course, for the little carrot nose, I went orange, but all I have is like a pumpkin color. So I just mixed that with some white to give me kind of a pastel orange color. Nothing too bright for this little snowman nose. And then I'm just going to use a black paint pen, draw on some really simple little snowman eyes. Try until leave like a little white for like some eye shine to give it a little bit of character. I don't think he really needs a mouth or anything like that, so we're going to leave it as is. Now, I wanted to add like some hearts to it. I have this little like wood heart sticker from the Dollar Tree. I thought that might be cute, like right over here on the side of the scarf where it kind of comes together. And then I was trying to decide, I wanted to give some Valentine's Day to this hat. And my first attempt was these. So these are the little red glitter stickers from Dollar Tree. And I love these for Valentine's Day because they're so glittery. I did think here at the end that maybe I went a little bit too crazy with the red glitter. And so I do kind of change those up here in a little bit. You'll see. Now, the snowman's going to take up about half of the sign, which is fine because I just have a fun little saying to put over on the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some hot glue and attach my snowman here to the front of my sign, kind of over to the left. I always like to kind of do whatever my theme is on my coffee bar sign and do the writing over on the right. I like that. Now, this is one of the little Dollar Tree love words. It's like a script, and I thought this would be a really pretty way to do love because I'm going to kind of be hand painting the rest of it. You could always make a stencil, use some Dollar Tree letters and stuff like that if you're going to make a coffee bar sign like this. But this is probably going to be the only actual kind of professionally done letters, and I'm just going to paint the whole thing with some white acrylic to make that white, pop against that red sign. And my colors today are going to be very traditional Valentine's Day colors, like lots of reds and pinks and white, and of course, snowman I try to incorporate in almost every DIY. So I'm just going to add some hot glue here to the back and glue that down. And I always recommend using Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks. I always get those at either Amazon or Walmart. I have them posted in my Amazon shop. I love those, and I accidentally used one of another brand that came with my glue gun, and I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't work near as well. It really made me like them better. Now, I just did is with a little heart eye, and then I'm just doing like a Rae Dunn font, but what we're going to have this say is love is brewing. The Rae Dunn font is really easy to learn once you get it, and it's just a little bit easier just to be able to use a paint pen like that and knock it out in one step rather than a stencil or anything like that. Now, once I have it all painted and ready, I do want to do a hanger, and I kind of want it to be a string on the back, but one that's kind of hidden. I don't have a lot of space above the top shelf on my coffee bar. And I am just going to knot the twine and hot glue that on. I did go back later and put a couple of staples over those knots just to kind of reinforce that a little bit to make it a little bit stronger, but this was that at that point. That's what I was like, I think I went a little bit too glittery on this. I don't mind a few glitter accents on my coffee bar, but it really wasn't like the goal I was going to go for. So I'm going to kind of try to reuse these little stickers, and I'm going to switch it up and do more of the wood hearts from Dollar Tree like I did before. I think it just kind of goes with the overall vibe of the project a little bit better. So these are kind of like the straight hearts, they're not like the curved ones. And I picked out like 4 of them in red, just kind of have them randomly going in different directions. And I'm just going to attach those with hot glue to all of those. And I like that vibe a little bit better. This is how it turned out, and this is it hanging at the top of my coffee bar. And I absolutely love that saying, love is brewing. It is perfect for a coffee bar. Now up next, we're going to take one of the little snowman mugs from the Dollar Tree and we're going to make it into a little vase. They have these great little pink mums right now. I love the color on them and I thought they'd be perfect for this. Now the little snowman mug from the Dollar Tree is nice and large, and this little foam piece, a floral foam, is going to fit in there nicely. I don't have to cut it or anything. And for the first batch of mums, I'm going to use a total of 2. I'm going to cut this one down a little bit. These are going to be like around the sides. I'm going to want these to be a little bit shorter. So I just cut these all individually and kind of stab those down in that foam. I really like that soft foam from the Dollar Tree a little bit better. It's a little bit easier to work with. This you kind of had to push a little bit. Then for the second bunch, I'm going to leave them all attached, but I'm going to just cut it off because it's way too long. So I'm just cutting it below where they're all attached. And all I have to do now is just remove the little plastic tag on there. Kind of spread those out. They're already arranged perfectly, and put that down right in the middle. I was having a little trouble going all the way through that foam like I needed to, so I kind of had to take it out a little bit to make it easier to work with. But nothing's gonna like be stuck to the little snowman mug, so I can always use that again for like hot cocoa or coffee next year. And I really like the idea of bringing snowmen in because a lot of winter decor, you really have to take everything down after Christmas a lot of times. And this you can leave up all the way through Valentine's Day. Now for the little wood sticks, these are from Dollar Tree as well. I'm just going to do 3 of them. And it's just a little fun dose of Valentine's Day up there in the pink flowers, all displayed in this cute little snowman mug from Dollar Tree. I love it. It's a perfect little vase, and it goes, of course, with my coffee theme as well. Now for the next DIY, I just have one of these little pink coffee creamers from Dollar Tree, and it's so easy to remove the paint on the front. All you have to do is use a little fingernail polish remover, and you have a blank little creamer. And I'm going to use a little glitter white snowflake on this one. A little touches of glitter I think are fine, just to kind of give a little touch of the snowman theme that we're going for. But I thought a coffee creamer for the coffee bar would be perfect. Now I'm just using some of the little felt roses from Dollar Tree. They are like different sizes. I picked out like 2 small ones and 1 larger one. I'm going to make it look like a little bouquet of red roses for Valentine's Day, but they don't really have stems, so I'm just going to hot glue mine together, just kind of sitting them on top of the coffee creamer. So it'll be easy to remove this so I can reuse this little coffee creamer for another project. And quick, easy DIY for my coffee bar, the little pink creamer with the white sparkly snowflake on the front, filled with some felt red roses for Valentine's Day. Now this is the next DIY. I picked up one of these little conversation heart signs at Dollar Tree, and the color is perfect, but I didn't really like the way they did that conversation heart word on there. It just says love, and I thought we could do better than that. So I'm just going to paint the front of mine white, leaving the sides pink, basically to kind of give myself a blank canvas and to cover up and mask that word, which is definitely going to require a couple coats of white to cover that up. And then I'm going to mix my own pink color with just red and white again to try to get about the same color as it was before to do a pink conversation heart. And we're just going to kind of DIY our own. I've got a fun saying that's going to kind of go with like the snowman and the Valentine's Day theme. And so I'm just going to paint that just using a makeup sponge from Dollar Tree. It works really well for painting small stuff like this. And a couple of coats to give us a nice, like, kind of chalky pink. And then I'm just going to use my red Posca paint pen and draw this on, just trying to make like regular block letters that you would see on a real conversation heart. Nothing fancy. And it's going to say, "You make my heart melt," which I thought was really fun because, it's Valentine's Day and, a melting snowman as well. That's basically all I'm going to do because I do want it to look like a chalky little conversation heart. And I'm just going to lay it on its side like this on my coffee bar. And I think it's really cute. I love that saying. I thought that was really a fun idea. You make my heart melt. Now, up next, I have another Dollar Tree DIY. This is just a Dollar Tree sign. It's kind of got like a little card on the top. It's got a little slot up there. I'm not really going to use that feature. I just like the fact that it was kind of small and it says love. And I actually got this from like the regular home decor at Dollar Tree, not from Valentine's Day. They have a lot of items that say love. And then I'm just using some bright red acrylic paint and a little makeup sponge. And we're just going to make the two hearts on the side bright red. Since I don't have any pink, I'm going to mix some white to that red and come up with a custom shade of pink here. And then I'm going to do the whole rest of the sign, the love, and the bottom bar in that light pink color. And just a quick, easy little DIY. I thought this would be perfect. It's the colors that we're using. I didn't want it to be all one shade, so wanted to mix it up with the pink and red. And it's a nice short sign, so I think it's going to be like really great below the coffee bar sign we made, and it's not really going to cover or block any of the sign. So that's one reason why I picked this one out. Now for a little dose of snow on this, I'm also going to use some white glitter snowflakes just because I don't really have anything small enough with a snowman with this, but we are going to be DIYing a little snowman to put behind the little love sign. And I love how it turned out. So just one of the like little smaller white glitter foam stickers in each one. And this is how this one turned out. Here it is, our little love sign. So cute. I actually kind of pick up love signs year round whenever I see them at Dollar Tree because I always like to have tons of these available for crafting at Valentine's Day. Next DIY, we're going to be using one of the little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree in the Valentine's Day section, some of their red and white snowflake napkins, and then I just want to make a base. I'm just going to use some craft wood from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut that down to size. I just need a tiny base, something that I can stand the heart on so that it can stand up on its own. So I just took that to my saw. I'm going to paint that pretty salmon color to kind of go with the colors that we've used today. And I'm just going to paint the top and all four sides of my little base. Easy peasy, and the base sign worked really well. Now, I'm also going to do the edges of the heart. It's kind of got like a bevel pattern, which I'm going to cover most of that with decoupage. But I do kind of want the sides not to be unfinished paint or unfinished wood. So I do those with the salmon color as well. I love decoupaging with napkins. Dollar Tree napkins are great for this. I always try to stock up every season. And it is a 2-ply napkin, so you just have to simply remove that so you can get a good decoupage. I'm just going to rip like 1/4 out, and we're going to do a thin coat of Mod Podge since we're doing a napkin all over the heart. Trying to get the bevel parts too, and then carefully lay on our little red and white snowflake. A napkin, I thought it'd be perfect. It's a heart shape, and then we have kind of our snow theme. The colors are perfect. And I just smooth that on. I don't like to Mod Podge on top when I do napkins because I love the texture that you get from it. So once I get that dry, I'm just going to use a sanding block all around the edges, and I'm trying to like kind of avoid the bevel area so that it all sticks down all the way over to the pink sides, and I just sand off the excess napkin. Super cute and super easy. And now we can go ahead and attach that to the base of the sign. I was just going to use hot glue, but then I thought, if I use a nail, it's going to be extra strong. So I like to get the little nails from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use a wood block underneath and just nail that through. and it'll be up like a spike that we can just spike the little heart on. I'm also going to use a little dot of hot glue to help glue that on. And this wood is soft enough that you can just put your little wood heart on there and gently push it down onto the stand. And we have a little custom Valentine's Day sign, perfect size for where I need it on the coffee bar. And it definitely goes with our theme. I thought about adding a little snowman to the front, but I really loved the texture of the napkin. This is how mine turned out. Super cute little snowflake heart for Valentine's Day. Now, this is a snowman we're going to DIY, just a Christmas ornament that I got at Dollar Tree, and it looks a little rough, but it's got kind of the bones that I need. It's probably easier than making a snowman, just because the little flocked body parts of the snowman are kind of nice. But I'm just going to go ahead and just start taking it apart and kind of redoing him a little bit to make him look fun and festive for Valentine's Day. Now, I like the little red hat. It was kind of messed up, so I'm going to remove it, but I'm going to save it. We can always like kind of trim it up, make it look a little less rough, and kind of put it on his head a little bit more so it'll be a little bit more rounded. I also don't really want like the traditional scarf. So just using my heat gun to kind of loosen their glue, I'm just going to carefully remove that. We can make a little Valentine's Day scarf, something that's going to be going a little bit more with our theme. But for $1.25, these snowmen really aren't that bad. Now for this scarf, I thought it'd be cute to use some of the little pink heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Super cute. It's going to give me some little hearts to decorate with. And I'm just going to wrap that around his neck. I'm also going to go ahead and take his arms off at this point too. They're not great, but we can make those work. And then I just kind of wanted to wrap this around like a scarf. It was a little tricky though, so I was thinking, I'm probably going to have to do this in parts to make it kind of lay like a scarf. So that is exactly what we're going to do. I'm just going to trim off the two tails, and then we can just attach it in 3 parts. That way I can get the scarf to lay exactly how I want. So I'm just going to glue this part right around the snowman's neck. And then I can do the 2 little, tail parts here, make them however long I want. I'm also going to update like the little buttons on the front. It has like little black felt buttons, but I want to kind of give that a Valentine's Day vibe as well. And I've really missed talking to you guys. You guys know I've been sick. If you've been following my Facebook or my YouTube channel in the community tab, your girl got really sick at Christmas. I went home. For the first time in 10 years, we went back to Missouri for Christmas, got to spend it with our family, which was so much fun. But unfortunately, we all contracted a terrible virus that lasted 10, 11 days, like probably the sickest I've ever been. And so I've really missed crafting. Now, I just put the little hat back on, as you can see, and then I'm just going to use one of those little pink hearts that we used for the scarf for the hat to decorate as well. The size was perfect. And then I'm just going to remove the little buttons here on the front. And I found some little pink like rhinestones at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and I thought those would make cute little buttons. But you could also use little hearts for that as well. That'd be cute. Aren't these cute? Look at these. You get all of these for $1.25. And I'm just going to kind of replace the buttons that were on there with these little pink sparkly gems. Definitely the right color, kind of coordinates with the little scarf, but extra sparkly as well, to do little buttons down the front of our little snowman. I'm going to do one right down here as well. And I think that looks pretty cute. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean up my little arms. We're going to put those back in. They were kind of falling out on me anyway, so I'm just going to kind of stab them back into the foam. I don't really like the fact that they're like all brown though, so I'm just going to give them a very light distressing with a little bit lighter brown to kind of try to make them look a little bit more like wood and less like plastic. So it'll be the dark brown and the light brown, both. And that's how you turned out our little Valentine's Day snowman out of a Dollar Tree Christmas ornament. And I actually am going to display him behind that love sign that you saw before, kind of peeking out from behind. And I love the texture of him. He's really looks like snow. Okay, next DIY, I designed this printable with AI, and I will share it below for you to print out as well. And I made mine a little bit smaller, 6x6, on this printout, because I'm going to use one of the little Dollar Tree wood blank signs. I love these. These are so cool. They have sides, edges. It's about 6 inches by 6 inches. And so that is what I made my printable. I printed mine out on cardstock because it's so much easier to decoupage. And I'm just trying to figure out a way to kind of center my little sign on there so I can kind of cut it down to size before we attach it to our sign. And sometimes my items on my coffee bar are a little bit shorter, so I kind of wanted just a fun little Valentine's Day sign, kind of canvas to go on the wall. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim that down, my cardstock, and make sure I got a good cut. Now it is a little thick, so we are going to have to use like a lot of Mod Podge to kind of glue that down. But I also didn't want the sides of this to be like raw wood, so I'm just going to use some white acrylic paint and a makeup sponge, and we're going to paint that first. I did kind of want to soak it up a little bit, so I did have to go over it with a second coat to get good coverage. Now, time for the Mod Podge. I love doing printables for you guys. It just makes such a quick, easy DIY. And I told AI I really wanted a cute watercolor scene of a snowman for Valentine's Day, and I think this totally fit the bill. It totally goes with my theme. I'm just going to lay the cardstock right on top, gluing that down. And I also like to Mod Podge over the top because it gives you kind of a nice like painting or canvas texture. Just one coat of Mod Podge and dry that, and we have a cute little custom sign. You could always make this bigger to do a bigger DIY. You could even do this on a round if you wanted, because you really would only be cutting off like the kind of watercolor effect of the square. But this is how mine turned out. I think he's super cute, and this is him hanging on the wall above my coffee bar. Now, they've had these a couple years at Valentine's Day. This is the first year I've been able to find it. It's like a little candy dish with like, I got the pink one. I think they also had the red one with the heart on top, but it's a really nice size for $1.25 from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to do a fun little hot cocoa DIY. Hot cocoa is great for winter, so I thought this idea was really fun. We're going to take some mini marshmallows and fill this up. So this is going to be a little decor piece for the coffee bar, but it's also going to be functional. I'm not going to do too many, about 2/3 of the way, I think. And put this on. It's airtight, so it should be able to keep my marshmallows fresh. And then I just wanted to do a little heart tag. So I picked up some of the little chalkboard tags from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to use the back of it because I do want mine to be red to go with kind of my red and pink color scheme. And so I'm just going to paint the back. And I just do that with some bright red acrylic and a little makeup sponge. Super easy. And then I can kind of write whatever I want on the tag. And I had the perfect idea. I'm going to have it say snowman kisses. I thought that'd be really fun. My thinner Posca white paint pen definitely needs to be replaced, but that's okay because I'm just going to make some big fluffy letters with my larger Posca paint pen. I love these. These work so much better than any of the paint pens I've ever used before. And I'm just going to make it say Snowman Kisses. You can see how vibrant that is against the red. And then I have a little bit of room on the top of my heart. So I decided to kind of like, freehand on a little snowflake on each side. Just a very simple one because I didn't have a lot of space. And now we can tie that little Snowman Kisses heart tag around the little candy dish. There's kind of a groove there. So I just take some twine and knot that around. And then I can use the rest of it to tie it on. And I think this is so fun. It brings in the snowman theme. And I think those little mini marshmallows do kind of look like snowman kisses. And I just tie that on, removing the excess twine. And this DIY, functional DIY, is ready to go. I'm going to put this on the bottom shelf of my coffee bar so it'll be nice and accessible for hot cocoa because I love hot cocoa as well. Now, I think these are new this year. I got these at Dollar Tree. I've never seen them before. They're little red felt heart trees with a little heart at the top as a tree topper. And I thought for $1.25, this was like saving you a lot of work. Mine looked pretty good. The only one that was kind of sticking up a little bit odd was the one on top. So I just kind of hot glued that down. I thought about adding ornaments to it, but I don't think it really needs it. So I'm just going to use another one of those little white glitter stickers for the tree topper to bring in a little dose of snow, but otherwise we're going to kind of leave it as is. I think they have these in pink too, but how cute are these little felt heart trees? I love a good Valentine's Day tree, And I think this is going to look really cute. It's just the perfect size and a dose of red for my coffee bar. Now for the next DIY, I wanted to do a string of snowballs for the front of one of my little shelves on my coffee bar. So I have some of these little Christmas ornaments from the Dollar Tree. These are like white yarn wrapped around just like a foam ball. They'd be really easy to recreate, but I was able to find these before they got rid of all the Christmas decorations, and I tried to save all my snowman stuff for after Christmas since I can leave it up longer. And I just cut some twine down to the size of my shelf of my coffee bar. And I just cut all the ornament hangers in half. That way I can just use the string on the top to tie these on. It's going to make it easier to move these around to get them centered perfectly. But I just tied my first one on the middle. I had a total of 6 of these, but I'm only going to use 5 because I always like to do odd numbers on my like pennant banners or garlands. And so I usually do 3 or 5 because these shelves are not very big. But I thought the snowballs would be a really cute touch to kind of go with the snowman theme. And I'm going to hang these from the top shelf of my coffee bar. And so I just tie them, double knot them all on, and then just kind of cut off the excess ribbon so you don't really see that. Easy peasy little snowball garland ready for the coffee bar. And this is how it looks hanging on. I just use a little dot of hot glue on the edge of both of my twines, just as a simple way to hang that without having to do nails or anything like that in my shelves. Now for the bottom shelf, I also wanted to do like a little pennant banner. And so I found this little wood heart, like kind of chain sign from the Dollar Tree. And I thought these little hearts would be perfect. They do have like other size hearts as well. These are a little bit larger than them, but I kind of like the style of them. So again, I like to use odd numbers and they're kind of larger. So I think 3 of these is going to be plenty. I'm going to do 2 of mine in that like salmon color we've been using of acrylic. And I just paint those simply with a makeup sponge. Easy peasy. 1 coat is fine on that one. Just making sure I don't block any of the little holes there and I have a good even coat. Now for the third one, it's going to be the one in the middle. We're just going to do bright red on that one to kind of go with our color scheme. And it's going to be a nice contrast to the snowball garland on the shelf above it. Now the red definitely required a couple coats because it soaked into that wood very much. And to get that bold color of red, I just went over it with a second coat. So this is how it's going to look, the red heart in the middle. Now all I have to do is string this up. Whenever I use a flat wood ornament like this and I'm making a pennant banner, I like to tie it to the string. That way I can move it side to side and it's going to lay flat. And, you know, whenever you buy the little wood ornaments from the Dollar Tree, they come with like the perfect size twine. It's a perfect length and they're really super skinny, so they're easy to work with. So I had some from a little Christmas package, and I'm just going to simply tie this on. And then I have the twine that I can tie on to my other twine that I cut the size of my shelf. Once I get those all tied on there, then I can go back and tie these onto the string, just kind of finding the middle. I can tie the heart on, but again, just like the snowball, since I'm tying them on, I can always move it side to side to get everything centered properly. And just cutting off the excess twine, but make sure you don't cut it off too short because you don't want your ornament falling off. And this was such a quick, easy little garland to go on the front. I think it's going to look really cute. I can kind of hide the twine behind the hearts like that, kind of making it, the hearts kind of be the main display. This is how it turned out, and this is how it looks attached to that shelf. Super cute. And I also have my little cup rack underneath. And I have 3 little Valentine's Day mugs that I think are going to look perfectly there. These are some of my Valentine's Day Rae Dunn collection. I have a red, white, and pink one, and so perfect with my color scheme. And all the sayings are, you know, nice and Valentine's. Be mine, soulmate, and love. I actually got, I think, the pink love one at Goodwill. You can actually find some really good Rae Dunn stuff at Goodwill occasionally if you have your eyes open. but this is how they look hanging, and the coffee bar is complete. I do have more Snowman Valentine's Day DIYs for you, but let me give you a little tour of my coffee bar. This is how it turned out. I think it was such a fun theme for my coffee bar. I love all of the red and pink and white for the snow. I think they all really work well together. And a snowman can be kind of an unexpected theme for Valentine's Day, but it really works because February is definitely winter, so snowman is definitely appropriate. I love the idea of the snowman kisses, super fun, and how cute is that Valentine's Day tree? Love is brewing. I think the sign at the top really made the statement for the rest of the coffee bar, and the snowballs are a fun touch to coordinate with the snowman theme. And don't forget, you can get that free printable for the snowman in the description of today's video. Snowman is such a fun theme for Valentine's Day. I really hope you got lots of great crafting inspiration ideas from today's video. Let me know which DIY was your favorite down in the comments below, or just come say hello. And you can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. And this is my QR code if you would like to buy me a copy. Enjoy the final reveal.
I don't know where she came from. Kinda turned me upside down. I just don't know what to do. I wanna spend the night at hers and bring her one of my t-shirts so it smells like her perfume. Now I really get what the love songs are talking about, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out of breath when you saw her in that dress? When your heart is beating fast and you're sweating and you can't stop looking at her smile, then you've been in love. That's how you know you've been in love. There's something about the way she laughs and the way she always dances when she thinks nobody sees. And when she's gone, I miss her so. I tell her, baby, please don't go. I think you should stay with me. And I really get what the love songs are talking about. Oh, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out of breath when you saw her in that dress? When your heart is beating fast and you're sweating and you can't stop looking at her smile, then you've been in love. That's how you know you've been in love. Turn me upside down. I just don't know what to do. I wanna spend the night with her, bring her one of my t-shirts so it smells like her perfume. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out?
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of today's video. That helps my channel so much. And I would also like to thank all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Familia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brult, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, Powell Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Jenny, Debbie Austin, James Osborne, and Lizette Thomas. Thank you so much for joining the membership. If you would like to join, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video on your phone or computer to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube. Now, would you like even more Valentine's Day crafting inspiration? Be sure to check out one of these DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Valentine's Day.